Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on the future of Naruto. Okay, and spoiler warning if any of you have not read all the way to the end of the Naruto manga, and well, I'll try to keep it spoiler free for the last Naruto, the movie, but we're basically going to be talking in this one. This was based on a user question or a YouTube viewer. This is from Trevor Smith, and he says, "Hey Trev, just watched the channel update video and was wondering if you could do a video talking about what will happen with Naruto series, or at least what I think will happen, anime, manga, and movies. On whether or not we'll see more of these for years to come. Thanks for reading, love your channel, and hope you do this video." So definitely, dude, I always appreciate it when you guys send me good video suggestions, and I think this one is really good. With the channel, if you guys don't know, if you're kind of new, because there's a lot of new subscribers to the channel, I've always kind of done Naruto videos. I never got into reviewing weekly the anime or the manga because I feel like each time there's not enough content to do a full review on it. With only so many pages of the manga, and I've just never got into the habit of doing that. But I definitely have done reviews for the series as a whole. I've done some videos talking about different discussion topics on versus matchups with Naruto. Did a review for Naruto, the last movie. So I wanted to do this one from him. Now, we had heard when Naruto was ending that they were going to be doing the spin-off. Kishi was going to be doing kind of a mini-series, he called it, or they called it, which features kind of the next generation after Naruto. So Bolt and, the others, the kids of our stars of the initial Naruto series, of course, that are still surviving anyway. We found out recently there's going to be another movie. I believe this is official, but don't quote me on it. Boruto, Naruto the movie. So even though they had a last Naruto the movie, we all knew, and I called it then in the review. If you guys watch my review, I said it, that it won't be the last one. There's no way it's going to be the final one. There's no way it's going to be the last anything with regards to Naruto. I feel that Naruto, now that the initial story is over, that the bulk of the initial creation is done, I don't think it will ever truly die, or at least not in our lifetime, not for a very long time. An example I always like to use is DBZ, of course, Dragon Ball Z, well, because I'm a big fan of it, but also because it's a textbook example of how something can garner so much attention and so much. We could also use Star Wars or other series like that can be so big. And I'm not saying necessarily that Naruto is on the same scale as a Star Wars. I think it's close to DBZ. It's at least gotten close. Maybe not quite to where DBZ was at in its heyday. But I feel like it's a good example to talk about because. Even though there's been times when there's almost nothing out there for DBZ, Dragon Ball, eventually, they're making something eventually for it, right? Even if it's been dead for however many years it's been since DBZ originally ended in Japan, they re-release, they do Kai, they do video games every year with Xenoverse, which was just released, which is amazing, and I guess it's sold, I think it said, 100 million copies, something like that it shipped. Don't quote me on that also. I saw that or something that it had sold just crazy amounts. There's going to be DLC for it and all that. Naruto, of course, has its own games, so the Storm series and that, and I'm sure they'll continue to be that. Now, it is the springtime now, basically, and we haven't seen this spin-off series as of yet. So I don't know when the official release date is for that. I don't think there's actually a concrete one yet. I haven't seen anything online with regards to exactly when it's going to be hitting. But I wouldn't worry too much about it, man, if you're kind of itching for some more Naruto. I mean, it kind of sucks that the series ended, but the bulk of the story, a good story, a great story, it does have to have some kind of ending at some point. We get old, as we're writing, when Kishi first started writing it, I'm sure he had no idea that in 15 years he would still be doing it. He probably never intended for 15 years of his life to be spent on this one project that he started out at the beginning, but the success carried through, and he made that his life's work basically, or at least so far. So we'll have to see what his desires are in the future and what he wants to do. I'm sure he's made enough money that if he wants to retire, he can probably retire and never wash his hands clean of it and never really deal with it again. But when you have a property like that, for example, George Lucas with Star Wars, when he washed his hands clean of it, he sold it. Right? He sold it. And it's crazy to think that, yes, we had the original trilogy and then they made the second. But if you think of the original trilogy, that's really what people think of when it comes to Star Wars. The additional trilogy in the 90s and the 2000s, I believe it was 2000s they were released, people don't really associate that with like true Star Wars, even though it is part of it. But it's a good example because, you have something that's so great, that's created by a creator that, it surpasses and lives on. And then when George Lucas is dead, Star Wars will still be around. It will still be a property. People, and it says something about us psychologically, we like things that are familiar to a degree. It's why they've made 7 Fast and Furious movies. They just keep making them because it's like people know what they're getting into. They know what kind of movie they're going to see, and they're going to pay to go to the theaters to watch it. Right? And rather than a brand new car movie like Driver or something, which I don't think did out that well, but to be honest, I would say is better than probably most of the Fast and Furious movies. But because people know it, it's created, it's out there, people are more likely to buy it, which is why we always see so many sequels and trilogies, and even going on further, 7 movies for Fast and Furious, like insane. But it's driven by people like what's familiar, people like what they know, and even though it's something new and they like new things as well too, when it has a familiarity to it, like Naruto and the spin-off series and then the new movies they're going to make and everything, I wouldn't worry about it, dude. It'll be like DB, where eventually they'll start releasing a movie every year. Every 2 years there'll be a new really nice animated movie that looks great, and and they'll do that. And there'll probably be some amazing video games to come out of the series where you could probably, I'm not sure how many playable characters the most recent Naruto game had, but I'm sure they'll create ones that have like everybody in them, like Xenoverse, maybe DLC, stuff like this, and eventually, there'll just be lots of new stuff for it eventually. It might not be as much as when the show was actually on in its heyday, but they'll always be creating, because it's a genre they've created. It's a property like Star Wars that people like Star Wars figures, for example, have been on the shelves for how many years now? Like 30, 40 years. There's Star Wars figures from the 80s that people buy on eBay and sell, and they're worth a ton and stuff like this. It's just one of those things that lives on past its initial release. And I think that there will be spin-off series. Yeah, there may be some delays, there may be stuff like that. It may not be like a weekly thing, but just like Dragon Ball GT or stuff like that, even if there's some misses, there's some stuff that people don't like as much, they will be making new stuff. And, I'm sure before long, this movie will be released, the Boruto, Naruto, the movie, and there'll be lots of other stuff happening. Maybe, I haven't heard of an actual anime spin-off, but they're still releasing even the anime, right? With tons of filler and stuff, too, to try to, it's like, we don't want to give this up. We want to prolong this as much as we can. Eventually, once they finish it, they may decide, you know what? We'll just make our own. If Kishi lets us, we'll create our own new series that maybe in that universe that doesn't focus on Naruto, and they'll create something else new. So, I know Naruto's over. It sucks because it was such a great series for such a long time, but it's there. You can always watch it again. You can always read it again. You can always enjoy it again. And I personally am most looking forward to them doing like a Naruto Kai. I hope they do it eventually, where they take the anime and they clean it up. They remove all that garbage filler, because it's got like the worst filler I've ever seen. It's got the worst filler. If you get to the point when you have like an episode that is like legitimate, as part of the actual canon, and then you mix in filler into that episode or into the next episode for 3 episodes, and then you go back, that to me is just absolutely infuriating. I would rather they do blocks of filler, so it's like this episode to this episode, skip, and then watch the next set of episodes. Naruto doesn't do that. It's such a mess. I hope they go through and they redo the anime, at least Shippuden, and they fix it, they clean it up, and they re-release it. But I wouldn't worry about it, Trevor. I think that eventually there'll be some really great new Naruto stuff, and you can always rewatch the old classic stuff, the old stuff that watch it again through if you really like the series. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll catch things you didn't know at first. You'll catch things you didn't see. It just makes it hard with Naruto because you got to avoid the filler. So you got to look online to see which episodes to skip, which episodes to watch, and enjoy. But yeah, man, at this point, probably for the next 10, 20, 30 years, they'll still make new stuff for this well-established property. I wouldn't worry about that. Even if it's not officially from Kishi, they're going to be pestering him for the rest of his life to create new stuff, to be involved with new stuff, and it'll be the same as what happened with Toriyama, as well as many other manga anime creators, with a property like this. It won't die so easily. Even though it's over, So anyway, those are my thoughts on this topic. Great question, the future of Naruto. That's what I think. It'll be bright, even still, even though, it's heyday, it's prime, it's officially, release time every week for the manga is over. I'm sure eventually they'll release something that's really cool, like some of the, to compare some of the Dragon Ball movies, like Battle of Gods. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the topic. What do you think is going to happen in the future for Naruto? I say it won't die so easily. It will, pain 6 paths. It'll resurrect. It'll come back. Maybe not, the way it was originally, but it will come back. At some point. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you guys liked it, please thumb it up below. If you want to support the channel, please share it. Please favorite it. If you're new, you want to subscribe, you want to see more from me, do lots of different stuff, including The Walking Dead, of course, reviews for different shows and big stuff that's out there, and always enjoy talking about anime and manga. Just click the subscribe bottom left. That's it for this one, guys. See you for the next one. As always, it's Trev. Stay in peace. Later, guys. See ya.